Well, it's an exciting time of year. There's no question about that as we talk to you from Mike Martin Field inside historic Dick Howser Stadium. And this guy is ready to go with his college baseball season here at Florida State University. Link Jarrett, and the Link Jarrett era begins this weekend.
Ready to go.
This is exciting,
this
right?
This is great.
Fired
and we're
up.
sitting here in the batter's box. I'm ready for somebody else with a different uniform to actually step in one of these batter's boxes and ready to go after it.
Yep. What's this week like as a coach, getting ready for the first ones?
Well, you hope you're checking all the boxes, and I call it special team stuff like bunt Ds and cutoffs and relays and some of the first and thirds and rundowns. Some of the things as a coach you feel like, hey, we have to have 4, 5, 6, 7 guys functioning on the same page for these team aspects to work properly. I just want to make sure we get through that one more time and cross the T's and dot the I's and kind of enter the Friday afternoon feeling like you've gone through your playlist multiple times. And, you know, hopefully everybody, thank goodness so far, we've stayed, knock on wood, relatively healthy, which is always a real concern, especially as you build up guys on the mound and try to extend some of those pitch counts. So all in all, we're in good shape. We just need to go down that checklist one more time this week with 3 good practices and hopefully get to the starting gates in good shape.
Yep. From day one, when you stepped on campus here to where we're at, and I know there's still plenty of work to be done. How much progress, how much strides your group has made on the field? What has really stood out to you about their work and what they've put in so far?
Well, you have a lot of new faces, and new faces meaning newcomers that are not necessarily familiar with what this looks like playing baseball at Florida State, and then they're all newcomers to me. So acclimating them from day one of the fall into our system, our terminology, our signs, the way we practice. You know, we played twice in the fall. That's not going to have quite the same feel and gusto as it'll have this weekend. But you're trying to make sure everybody's on the same page, and that does take time. And we need all 3 of these remaining practices to make sure we get it right. That's part of it, and the most important part. But then clearly, I think for the fans, the excitement around just a little bit of a different feel in the stadium itself. I think Michael and Adam and Chip and everybody that was involved and JD on the concourse retheming, it's clean and crisp. And when folks come in, there's a different feel and a different look. And I think that's important that you continue to move the needle with the fan experience. And then you look out here, I feel like the modifications we made help the players. I think it's a cleaner, better look. So really excited about what we've been able to do on the field. And, you know, the time will come for us to actually see the fruits of that. But for the fans, I think it'll be enjoyable for them to roll in here and take in a slightly new look.
Yep, let's talk about that. And Fan Day this past weekend, and as always, so many great fans of Florida State baseball and FSU athletics made their way out to Dick Howser Stadium. You saw some of the different things along the concourse area here, out on the playing surface as well. Kind of go through that. What was important to you about a little bit of a fresher look and what you wanted to attach to telling the history of FSU baseball?
Yeah, it's the most historic venue in college baseball. And I think the players and the teams and the championships and previous coaches that need to be recognized. And that needs to continue to change. As you have guys that leave here and end up in the major leagues, they need to be recognized. And we'll have Buster Posey here in March, which will be a great event, and retire his jersey. So as you grasp the history of the program, I think it just adds to the game day experience. And some people, we're here every day. Some people may get one shot to bring their family to the stadium to watch us play. And I think they need to have a complete experience when they do that. So I'm glad we got to do Fan Day. I was a little worried when, you know, it rained all day Friday and all day Saturday. And Jason Denner and I said, can we please do this? We need it so that some of the guys can get out here in front of a little bit of a crowd with a different atmosphere. And I think for the young kids, when they walk by and they get those autographs, just the look in their eye and the appreciation of being up close and getting us to sign a poster or a ball, and as they move down the line, I think it's the most impactful moment for a young kid to be involved in our program. They don't get to roll out here every day and run around on the field, but that was a great event, and the hour with the autographs and the people that are so appreciative of Florida State baseball is awesome. Glad we got to do it Sunday, and I'm thankful that the folks showed up on Super Bowl day.
Yeah, absolutely. Winning is what Florida State baseball is all about, an unbelievable culture and history here. Coach knows all about winning himself as an All-American player, College World Series a season ago. You and your staff here now looking to continue that tradition and history at Florida State. You talk to any coach, culture is so important, and instilling how you want to go about your business on a day-by-day basis. How would you describe a Link Jarrett-led baseball program to folks?
Well, I hope we're fundamentally sound, number one. I hope we have good variety and depth on the mound. If you're fundamentally sound and have variety and some depth, and you have capable starting pitching and you have dynamic bullpen type pitching, if you're hard to score on, you're going to essentially find yourself in every game.
Yeah.
The athleticism I think you find on the field, if you can play sound athletic defense, when you're over here trying to figure out ways to score and manufacture, I think that breed and style of defensive player cultivates a well-rounded offense that has the ability to run the bases. If we need to use the short game, I hope that that's a weapon. You hope you're physical enough. Like, we need to have balls that leave the stadium. The home run is an important part of this. And then the two-strike hitting. Like, those guys need to be in a position in the batter's box to hit with less than 2 strikes and try to do some damage and also function with 2 strikes. Last year, diving into the numbers, never would have thought this, but 53% of our at-bats at Notre Dame got to 2 strikes.
Wow.
And that is about kind of an average number when you look at college baseball. About half of the at-bats reach 2 strikes. Sure. Like it or not, you're going to have to be able to manage that. Now, going from 3-1 to 3-2 might be different than hitting out of an 0-2 count. But at the end of the day, the 2-strike hitting is important. And I hope that's something we can really ratchet up as we get into the season.
Let's talk about some of your individual guys and guys that have received some accolades from a year ago, being recognized already here in the preseason. You mentioned pitching. Left-hander Wyatt Crowell is a preseason All-American and was just honored as a Golden Spikes award list honoree in college baseball. This is a guy that's got a nice repertoire, Coach. It can make people look pretty silly with his stuff he has from the left side.
Dynamic. You know, the fastball, tremendous carry to it. The breaking ball is a wipeout type slider, and he's developed a really nice feel for the changeup. One of our captains, obviously a tremendous locker room guy, out here controlling the running game, fielding his position, game control, being more on the offensive side with, you know, you're on defense and you're pitching, but really the offensive mindset of having the ball and controlling the game, he's A+ with all of that. Yeah. Very dynamic, tremendous weapon.
Yep. And then in the field and at the plate, a freshman All-American a season ago that led Florida State in multiple, nearly every statistical category. Jaime Ferrer returns for his sophomore season. What kind of a jump can a young man make after such an impressive rookie season campaign in year number 2, you think?
Well, you hope the approach, like as you become more of a target by your opponent on how you're going to be pitched, when you're going to be pitched, when you're going to be pitched around, I think the maturity of the evolution of the approach and what you're looking to do and how you're thinking through the at-bat, not guessing, but how you're assessing how you're being pitched and what you see out of the guy that you're facing, or in some cases out of the staff in general, you may find tendencies in how they're pitching you. So that cat and mouse, as you become more relevant entering a season, like is something that he'll have to really mature with, and being selective and disciplined, and we work on it every day. I think that's where he takes strides. Physically, the impact of the ball and the strength and the power, you can see it in one swing in batting practice. So the ball explodes off of his bat, and he's worked very hard to become a good outfielder, tremendous throwing arm, savvy on the bases. So good player. Now, Hauser Stadium, right field is a lot different than a lot of other right fields, and we've even had him in left field at times in hopes that if we're at a place where maybe left field's a little smaller, if we have center field type guys, maybe we can move Jaime around a little bit to strengthen our defense in certain spots based on the venue. But he's, a great 4.0 student, just a great kid, great representative of everything that's good in Florida State baseball. He's fabulous.
Yep. Final question for you. From being a player here that played in the biggest of games to now returning as the head coach of this program, the journey overall. And I know you're so locked in to today and then getting ready for the weekend and then everything after that as you get into the season. But just going back to that time and now to be here to use maybe some of those, all the experiences to help your program and team get to where they want to go? What's that like?
Well, you enter this as a freshman, and I didn't know I was coming to Florida State till late summer after my senior year of high school. So my recruiting path was a lot different, and I rolled in here as the last guy on the team, in part because of the draft had depleted them. I was just hoping I could make the team or go out there and somehow help the team win. That's all I wanted to do, was help Florida State win. And clearly decades have gone by. That's still all I want.
Yeah.
Now, my responsibility and what I'm able to do, clearly vastly different. But I want these guys, when we go out there Friday, I just want to play a good first inning. Like I want to get out of the gates, and I want to have dominant stuff on the mound, tidy defense, and I want to get in the dugout and figure out a way to score. And I feel like managing the game and coaching the game, when you can keep this segmented into small little bits and pieces of how do we simply navigate the first hitter, the first inning, and get off the field, that's where this is going to go. Now, ultimately, I wanted one thing here, and I wanted to walk off the field with the big trophy in Omaha, and we didn't quite do it. So all of my focus is now everything I've learned, not only as a player here, professional player, and all the 7 different places I've coached, is to bring that together and try to give these kids the best opportunity to walk out of there with that trophy one day.
Coach, I tell you what, this place is going to be fired up this weekend. I know you and your guys are as well. All the best, and thanks so much for your time. We can't wait to see you.
Thanks, Jeff. Appreciate it.
There you go. He is Jarrett, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jeff Culhane. Friday night, it's the opener versus James Madison, a 5 p.m. first pitch, Mike Martin Field, Dick Howser Stadium. For more Florida State baseball coverage, keep it locked in right here to Seminoles.com.